Hoo-wee, man. So, a year, all those hauls, what have we got to show for it? This is part two of my best finds or reads of 2025. A little bit late, but you can still wish people a Happy New Year at this point, right? Would Larry David accept that? Um, yeah, floppies. These are the ones that I would consider like absolute fucking bangers, like wholehearted. What do you shit called? Recommendations. We're gonna start with superhero stuff. A little more than the last video, naturally. So some of those are like monetary finds as well, once in a while, but mainly concerning good reads, cool art. After superheroes, we're going just kind of alphabetical: action, adventure, fantasy, sci-fi. Then what's after that? Like crime, spies, and war. That's how I have my sections organized these days. I tried it by like alphabetical, like, all through the years, alphabetical by publisher, but I like it by genre now. After horror, or wait, fantasy, crime, spies, war, then horror. That's gonna be a big section, and lastly, we're gonna finish off with like indie and underground stuff. Let's start. Oh yeah, and I guess I'll put in timestamps to the different genres, maybe. Also, these aren't all new releases by any means. Sometimes I read them like later, like even years later or a year later and stuff like that. But I will remark when something was a new release. Okay, first up, this Avengers 196. Notable superhero stuff here. I got this for a pretty good deal. I think it was like pretty cheap, like 40 or 45. It's pretty minty except for that there, but that would come out with the pressing. And I would say also this is a fun read. Is it Michael Golden on the interior? Why am I forgetting that right now? But it was a fun read and good first appearance. People wonder about like the difference between cameos and first appearance. I think of it almost like if it was like an old TV show and it's like, next week this bad guy is gonna be the fight. Like that's kind of not the same. If you see some like the corner of somebody's foot on a TV or something, that's not like a first appearance. To me, it's more like a showcase of them, right? And in this, Taskmaster kicks a lot of ass, and he's pretty awesome in it. It's pretty good. More Avengers. This is Rogue. You gotta love Rogue, sugar. Avengers Annual number 10. And I just read this, and it was pretty good too. I just love Rogue, so if I can find, I think this was 50 I paid for this. I kind of strong-armed him. I don't know. I feel like I owe him. I got a good deal on this because this is near mint as well. But most importantly, like, am I starting to care about that stuff? But yeah, this is fun. I just like that character. So if I can find first appearances or good issues of a character that I really like, maybe I will go for them sometimes, Okay, let's talk about the reading. This is kind of an understated or underrated one. Therefore, it's not for money. The other ones are for money and like good reads, right? Or the significance. Batman Nevermore by Len Wein and Guy Davis, with covers by Bernie Wrightson. Let's flip through issue number 2 here. Another Wrightson cover. This is good if you're like a fan of Edgar Allan Poe, or this kind of like offbeat, almost comedic, but like an Elseworld in the time of like Gothic literature and Gothic horror. It's in this world that's kind of like, you've seen maybe Lovecraftian settings. This is like an Edgar Allan Poe setting, and this Batman of the time. And the big baddie also is pretty good in here. When the science or art of psychology is kind of in its infancy, the evil... Well, is it a spoiler? This kind of evil psychologist here. You can find out later who the analog might be out of the Rogues Gallery of Batman. It's all pretty good too. Guy Davis and Len Wein really doing the Poe Gothic rich. Like, it's not tedious, even though it has a fair amount of text. It's just that lush kind of writing that you get out of that time period. Say with like Poe or Lovecraft, where it's just really rich. Like, everybody is kind of classy, and like the way they talk is really just so like well placed, their words. to convey just like, I just love it, like that high level, like that's something you get kind of out of old black and white movies too. It's nice the way people like treat each other or talk to each other and deal with the world and stuff and heroism. And Poe, kind of a nondescript kind of guy in here, but he ends up kind of being like an ally to Batman and helping him a lot through this, and even maybe saving his fucking bacon sometimes. It's good too, and it has like a lot of Easter eggs. And like I said, I kind of associate Len Wein with an old time. Let's look at Batman Nevermore #3. And yeah, the guy I've started also is just perfect. I've been buried alive. There's a lot of like purloined letter murders in the Rue Morgue and Telltale Heart. There's like just little not adaptations of them, but just the way that things can occur that are kind of like shout outs to that stuff is really well crafted. And I would think, you know, when I think of Len Wein, I think of like, it's oh those are like old comics, so maybe they're not as entertaining, or they're from a time that aren't as entertaining, but this is just a pleasure to read. What else can I compare it to? Maybe something like I'm thinking of something else. But that time, it's just so classy, man. I love it for like gothic horror. It's just so good. This is a keeper. Okay, let's look at it. It's a 5-part series. This is they're all Wrightson covers. It's #4 and #5. Those are forever keepsies for the fun. Batman and Robin Adventures #4. This is by Ty Templeton and Rick Burchett. And this is a good series too. The one and dones. There's kind of a reason why a lot of people of our generation, maybe even the generation like past us or something. What is it? What generation are we? But the iconic, kind of our favorite Batman, and maybe one of the most iconic renditions is from that animated series. So some of that, and these are quite good one and dones. This one in particular I really liked, where the Penguin is taking over the Gotham Zoo. And Batman, of course, is there to thwart him. Finally, he's like freeing the animals, right? Which would maybe be seen as like a silly, almost immature thing to do, but actually he's finding them even like homes in their natural habitats, like overseas and stuff. He's arranged for that, and you get to the end and you're kind of like, fuck, man, the Penguin got caught, and it seems sad. But let's see here if we can show that. I don't mind giving you a spoiler on this like 30-year-old comic or whatever. Batman thwarts him, and it's it's sad, but you see here that like the prize toucan and some other like prize birds there were arranged to have like homes in their home habitat, and this framing the toucan, it kind of pans out to the second to last panel that the Penguin is looking at that, and even though he's caught and sentenced to like consecutive life terms in jail, he's happy that he was able to free these birds. And they don't even state it in here. You kind of have to like read it and then realize it yourself that it's not, you're like, what the fuck, this is just another story where like he got caught or something. But the look on his face just says it all. It's pretty touching, actually. I wish I did it better justice in my description here, but I'm not pre-written. I probably could have if I did, but yeah, I'm just a little bit unprofessional. But forgive me, this is great. Batman and Robin Adventures #4. If you see it in the dollar bin, it's a fine read. Okay, this is kind of a cool score. I don't know what the significance of this is, but it was cool because it was only $5, but it's worth like over 50 or something. You know where. People that watch this channel, you know, I'll be finding some good stuff in there. I don't want to shout it out too much. I still want to not compete too hard. But I guess the significance of this is that it's the first time the Kingpin's name, Wilson Fisk, is mentioned. I don't know. This was 75 cents, I believe. Daredevil 176. First appearance of Stick. Give him the stick. Don't give him the stick. And this was, I think, in like a 50-cent bin or a $1 bin, Daredevil from the Born Again series 28. Looking a little beat up, but when you open it up, the cool thing is that it's a double cover, and that interior cover is minty. That's what you grade these by, right? Actually, not on the back, though. That's definitely not minty. But still kind of cool. How much do you guys think this was worth? Anybody who knows, go ahead and tell me. This was like 50 cents or something, so I think that's cool. Even though I don't know if that's dangerous to have that. There was a little bit of mold on there, I think. I need to learn how to neutralize that. Some people just throw that stuff out, though, eh? Okay, moving on. I made sure not to touch that either at the moment. Okay, from my local comic shop, I found these issues of the original Mirage Studios Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles City at War. This is number 50 by Eastman and Laird. And these go... This is a mighty fine read. A lot of my favorite TMNT are Mirage, right? Especially the, like, story arcs, like, that space one that's, like, number, what, like 5 to 7 or something like that, or maybe 4 to 7. And the, but especially, like, the Return to New York, because it's kind of like dark and like brooding and just like cool and violent. I don't know, those are kind of my favorites. And also the like before the Return to New York, when they fled New York from like Leonardo number 1 to number 10, and then number 11. And this, I haven't been able to read all of it, but I got a big chunk of these, and this is probably rating up there so far with what I've read. And these online, they're hard as hell to find. I don't know if I've even really seen these in my life since they came out back in the day. And I didn't grab them back in the day because I looked at just like the trade dress and I was like, oh, it's all like 90s out or something. It's over. Silly me. But able to find these now. The most expensive they were per issue was $11, whereas a lot of them you're going to be paying like $40 plus shipping for like a beat up one if you're getting them online. So pretty lucky there. Definitely patting myself on the back. This is kind of like a grail, once in a lifetime kind of find for me. You know, maybe if I can get better and find stuff like this more often, but I don't know if that is very possible in all my years of digging in stuff. This is like, I feel very grateful for this. Like you know, praise Allah. TMNT number 51. More of that City at War. Or like, I do feel very grateful, man. This is like, I feel very lucky to find these. Who knows? What can we find more? Yeah, there's like once in a lifetime things that happen more than once in a lifetime, right? Here's number 52, number 53. Okay, let's talk about this quickly. Quickly? Actually, I know that I'm gonna. I want to talk about a little bit of like a controversial subject. I think is worth thinking about. That would be like superheroes being maybe an analog for law enforcement or community, like, what would you call it? To serve and protect, basically. This Transformers Spotlight Prowl. And I know it's not cool, but this might be the most pro-police comic I've ever read. And not in a bad way, not as, I know like some of us are like kind of come from like an anarchist background or something and say like, oh, they're tools of the state or something like that. But even think like a lot of us maybe even like Star Trek, and even they are basically a military organization that preaches not intervening, but they do have to intervene. Or think of something like Batman or Superman. I mean, Superman, he'll intervene, or Spider-Man especially, he fights street crime a lot. Batman is a detective. A lot of people think about, like, the Punisher is like a fascist or something, and he was a symbol of the police force. Batman is, as well, quite a bit. A lot of people in law enforcement looked up to Batman growing up, and he's kind of, even these, something as hardcore as the Punisher or something, like... Even Batman kills now, doesn't he, in Absolute? So, or even in The Killing Joke, that's a bit controversial. That's because that's silly, like, the Joker isn't real. He wouldn't, like, keep escaping over and over. But, this, okay. Probably in an ideal society, there wouldn't be a need for police. But then again, even if in a utopia, there probably would be homelessness or mental illness, or would all the ills, would there ever be, I'm not saying homeless people are bad, I just mean like there probably would be a section of the population, no matter what, that would be not with society, and not equating that with violence or anything, but okay, basically I'm gonna say we don't live in a perfect society, no matter how you look at it. Police, they're mostly dealing with even crime, violent crime. It usually happens between people who know each other, and mostly domestic violence, right? So that's the kind of crazy shit they're seeing. Not saying that about Transformers here, I'm just talking about the basic issue talked in here is like maybe the need for police, or basically this story, he yearns to actually protect and serve. And I know that gets, you get your Alonzo from Training Day and stuff out there, but maybe even they have an ideal side. There's a lot of us versus them all the time in like the media and stuff, where there's racial divide, or even class divide, or even like normal people versus the police. There are a lot of these divides kind of foisted upon us, whereas the ideal policeman or even superhero is trying to serve their community and stuff. So these are things that might piss people off to hear me talk about, but there's some things that I couldn't avoid thinking about when reading this Prowl comic, where basically he has to try to not even like let anybody know that the Transformers exist, but he kind of after just not having to stand by and watch terrible things happen, he finally like transforms and is like, fuck this, man, I have to do something. So it's kind of like really cool, this Transformer Spotlight Prowl comic. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, you gotta be a bootlicker and stuff, it's so uncool to blue. I'm just the basic ideals are kind of sound, and they are an undercurrent in superheroism. So what are you gonna do? Even like the Punisher or Batman, they can be willing to, or like Green Arrow, or like Zorro or Lone Ranger, they can be willing to as well go up against institutions like corrupt corporations or governments or factions within. So that's another thing, right? Like we're always taught like, oh no, they just, so I don't know, it's something to think about, maybe, or something fun to think about, or not fun to think about. But anyway, moving on. Was getting a lot of I've been completing a lot of my X-Men run to the point where I've kind of got the modern stuff from like what's the dude's name before like JRJR, like Paul Smith and JRJR, to like Silvestri and Jim Lee, and a bit of Portaccio. So now I'm kind of getting some of the older stuff, and this was a cool find, number 95 for pretty cheap, pretty early on the new team. And just significant of that, like this was the last of like the whole kind of like really modern run that I was looking for, and finally got it. This is the first appearance of Gambit, and again, talking about that, this is like a pretty fun read. It showcases Storm a lot more, and I guess I don't remember it. I haven't read like a whole lot of these, so I kind of like been waiting to get them all together, but it's fun to just read random ones too. It's fun doing that. But he has like kind of a weird like coercion or like charm that he can like kind of talk people into things too. I don't remember that coming up in other iterations really, but this was a pretty cool comic. Storm showing as well her ability as like a tactician and strategist, why she was a good what's it called, sorry, I think my sound just messed up. Just a second. Oh man, sorry, I forgot to turn my mic on. I was just using the phone mic. Maybe it just got really loud for you guys right now. Sorry about that if that did happen. Okay, moving on. I forgot to mention this in books. This is Absolution by Chris Oscage and Roberto Viacava. This was really fun. Going to the extreme of like, yeah. It was kind of like going to the extreme of like, I wish I could kill that repeat offender that like is gonna like keep hurting people, and even like, you know, doing horrible things to people. So outside of the law, going even against like the institutions of police and court, just because he's going like that far. Not to get too extreme, but this was fun to read. I guess it's kind of like well, superheroes are vigilantes too. outside of the law as well. I don't know what point I could be. I'm just trying to confuse you and fuck with you now. Okay, so now we're going to go to action, adventure, fantasy, and sci-fi. Yeah, I'm putting westerns in here because maybe westerns seems too boring on their own. Okay, the New 52 reimagining by Gray and Palmiotti with the Moritat on the art for All-Star Western featuring Jonah Hex #0. This would be a origin of Jonah Hex for this New 52, and I was surprised. I was very skeptical. Number zeros or origins usually suck, but this was pretty cool. There's like one or two things that I thought were like kind of a rough trope, like his dad here is so cool. On the night of his birth, he's fucking in a gunfight. But it's kind of sad later that he's like, oh, and then he's like alcoholic and like mentally abusive. I hate that kind of trope. Why do they have to do it like that, man? Or else they could have had it like, oh, and then he got killed by some evil people. But I don't know what they could do. That wouldn't be like kind of cliche. This is cool when he's with the Apaches and in the Civil War. Yeah, this is pretty fun. I like that the Gray and Palmiotti Jonah Hex from what I've read, and I was surprised that this was so good. So fun. I don't, it's not canon, but pretty fun read. Okay, we've talked about this a lot, and maybe I was like, I don't want to be overhyping this. I feel like it could be, there are some things it could do to be like an absolute masterpiece or something. Like if it had action choreography like Frank Miller level or anything, it's more like splash pages, the action or fights. But this is sick. It does, not all the time. It's like there's some good ass choreography in here. Rook Exodus, the new season, and I'm fine with that. It was only like 3 issues this year. If it stays this quality, I can wait, man. Because if you're putting something out there, it's kind of forever. And if it's gonna be that fast and loose monthly thing, like it might only be like story arcs of like a few issues, right? Even the best guys right now. And then it's loose. This is like really tight, so. Oh yeah, I wanted to show, when I was talking about these guys being even on the ball, right? It's like, even the coloring. Look at how the coloring creates depth here. That you can see that the air has like frost in it. And separating like these dogs from the foreground. This deer jumping out of the panel even. It's fucking sick. Even just everybody is on the ball here. Who is that colorist? Brad Anderson. Okay, I've talked about this enough though. I don't want to overhype it. I almost also feel like I don't know if there's really any kind of like philosophies or anything you can like ponder and shit like that. It's not necessary, but that's the kind of shit. Like, I mean, like Terminator 2 has like no fate, right? Or even if you want to see like Terminator 3, it says that it's like inevitable and but if that deer hadn't like gone in front of John Connor's bike at the beginning of Terminator 3, am I giving it more thought than the writers did on that one? I don't know. But I mean, I just like when there's little shit like that to think about. That's kind of what brings things to new level. Even like Akira, when they're talking about the like evolution and stuff, if the life force is like in a cell or whatever. So it kind of like, those are the kind of two things I think are like missing to make it like that level, but it's pretty high level. Rook Exodus #8 and #9. Maybe it could have that stuff. That would be sick. But how does that stuff come about? Maybe that's like, because not everything, even like every writer has like, I don't know which writers have that in like those like awesome kind of elements in every story they've made even. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to keep what's this shit called, digressing. Okay, shout out to that channel, Comics Rot Your Brain. They're the channel where I found out about this Screamer by Peter Milligan, Brett Ewins, and Steve Dillon. It's kind of like if Scarface met like Barry Lyndon in fucking Escape from New York. I hate when people do those kind of like movie box summaries where you're like, okay, so they're copying that stuff. No, that's just the best thing I could describe it as. basically like 3 generations of this family, along with the rise and fall of this gangster in like post-apocalyptic abandoned New York, where the gangsters are all called presidents. I'm just thinking in my head, am I too tired to do this? Am I doing a bad job? But okay, the rise and fall or fall, I don't even know if I would say that, but I want to avoid spoilers. And just like his rise and how it affects, without him even knowing it, like 3 generations of this family in poverty, and just like destroys their lives more and more. Meanwhile, there's a weird element that, like, is he psychic? The theme, I guess, would be fate. Are we doomed to be locked into our fate? Or not? Can we change it? Because he's kind of like Dr. Manhattan in that he feels trapped into doing these ruthless, evil things. And it's almost like he even wants people to stop him, but like they can't. He's always just fucking destroying everybody else and rising to power. Maybe he's a little bit better than a lot of the people that he's taking over from, but it just happens that this Finnegan family, they're always in the wrong place in the wrong time during his rise, and their lives are just getting fucked. Like at the one point, this guy's kids get caught at like this decadent party for one of the presidents, and this guy shows up, the father, the Finnegan father, and he, Vito, the Screamer, gives him the choice, and he's like, you either kill these other 2 child prisoners, or we killed your children for the entertainment of this party. Yeah, it's brutal stuff, man. Excellent, Vito, truly entertaining. Did you see how the little devils shuddered at the moment of truth? Oh, but they struggled so, didn't they? I thought they'd never die. How wonderful to see that big man trying to hold them down, actually trying to close his own eyes while he slaughtered them. How wonderful to see the depths to which we can all sink. Yeah, they kind of just revel in like evil and stuff. Tastes lovely, Vito, come and taste some. Vito, he's always like flashing back to these formative moments in his life. What we got here? When I was 7, I found a dog. It was a skinny dog, hiding in the corner of a basement where an old man had crawled in and died. Maybe the dog had belonged to the dead man, or maybe the dog had gone in there to eat him, or was attracted by the warmth of the corpse. The dog was so ill it hadn't even been able to fight off the rats before they'd taken several bites out from its hind legs. It snarled as Vito picked it up and swung it round his head, but it was only the tired memory of a snarl, only the dream of old snarls. It sighed almost pleasantly as its skull broke against brick. Then Vito stood there transfixed, staring at the dog's death tattoo. He stared and he stared and he stared. So it's like he's flashing this blood as like the blood on this knife that was just used to do his murders too. So you kind of don't know if is he precognitive, or is he just kind of like nuts, but he can't be stopped on his rise to the top. It's wild stuff. And it's dark, and it's just fucking cool. But it's brutal. Things are just fucking, it's such a brutal world that they're in. Screamer. You can find these in bargain bins, and they're pretty sick. Okay, took a chance on this Star Wars Boba Fett Twin Engines of Destruction. And I remembered this was like advertised as a good one back in the day. And I'm not like anti-Star Wars or really pro, but I kind of avoid a lot of Star Wars because I think of it almost like as a school or class with like a really high grade, and that the more crud, like the more mediocre stuff or whatever is like, it brings it down. So I just don't even like the impression of Star Wars in general being like sullied, because it's kind of a cool world. The first one I ever saw, well, I saw Star Wars 1 as a really little kid, but Empire Strikes Back was like the first one I saw when I was older, and it's just fucking sweet. Anyways, to get to some good Star Wars, this was pretty sick. And Boba Fett too, they was kind of done wrong in the TV show, right? But man, Robert Rodriguez, what the fuck? But this is like, okay, this is why he was like a fanfic kind of, or like a Elseworlds kind of like fucking favorite in this. He's just one of the baddest motherfuckers in that. And the cool thing about Star Wars is kind of like in that universe where there's like, it's like Western and knights and wizards and fucking samurais and ninjas, but like sci-fi technology and shit too. It's everything in the kitchen sink, like giant dragons, or like kind of like dinosaurs and shit too, or even fucking like abominable snowmen, or kind of. But yeah, this is sick. This is pretty good. Or I mean, it didn't make me get all tingly all over, but it was just a cool like fucking Boba Fett doing badass shit, and pretty action packed and well paced and good. Like a satisfying one comic, like where you're like, yeah. If I was a kid, I could read that same comic just over and over, you know? I love that. I love a good single issue. That was Boba Fett Twin Engines of Destruction by Mangles, Nadeau, and Ensign. Another good Star Wars was this Darth Vader annual by Kieran Gillen and Lionel Yu. And let me show you just one part here. This was sick. I talked about it before, but... yeah, just this is cool. Let me get to a part here. Where is it? Yeah, this is pretty indicative of what's cool. Like they can have just two characters in like a giant industrial fucking pipe or tube, and it doesn't have to be like zoomed out with millions of spaceships everywhere and the whole galaxy's at stake. It's like these kind of moments that are actually like powerful and hard hitting. This team gets it. They did a cool story in here, and this is a good one and done too. You get like a full beginning, middle, and end, and yeah, it's just fun and action packed and like suspenseful throughout, and kind of like cool. So I liked this one a lot. Okay, from the this is nowadays stuff, new release stuff. Terminator Metal. Lord Tatman was saying, and he said it well, that the Terminator was kind of made to be cartoony, but in this, it's good that he's like scary again. He's an element of like death personified. So this is cool. Declan Shalvey and various artists, but some artists recurring. I really love the color palettes too, and these are all one and dones as well. Not that that has to be a recurring theme, but now I'm just noticing that a lot of stuff I picked were able to be complete stories in one comic. And a lot of this takes place in like the future. You've heard me talk about this series like almost every month if you guys have been around, so I don't want to be redundant here, but yeah, creative stuff, and it's like new kind of stuff. I would say the most recent issue though was like the most kind of like cartoony or lighthearted so far. So don't judge it necessarily by that, but it was still okay. This was probably the weakest out of the whole Declan Shalvey Terminator series, but it was still kind of fun. Terminator in the Old West, they sent him back too far. Okay, I talked about this recently too. This was one of my favorites of the year. This is a new release as well, Twilight Zone #2 by Tom Scioli. When I talked about this, I talked about it like as if an assignment when people are doing these horror sci-fi anthologies. They're kind of like, okay, here's they kind of do it like paint by numbers, but this is more like almost going off the page, but still, you know, getting like crazy colors in paint by numbers and stuff. I really like this one. I've heard a lot of people say they thought this was the weakest one so far. I thought this was absolutely the strongest. Yeah, it's fucking, I was in suspense, I was laughing, I was like fucking mentally stimulated, and I hope I'm not being pretentious here. I think this is actually very, very smart, really sharp stuff. You know, you might beg to differ, but to me this is one for the ages, so I won't be getting rid of that. Okay, was getting these Matt Wagner Zorros, and these were fun as shit. This is an overarching, this is old, but I got it out of dollar bins, and I had to go back like immediately to get more, and like stay up past my bedtime every time just reading a huge batch. Yeah, these Matt Wagner Zorros are awesome, man. They're shit hot. Well, could a Western be shit hot? I really like them a lot. They oh man, the villains are so villainous, the heroes are so heroic, and yeah, even though there's an overarching storyline, again, you get like the satisfying beats of like a complete story inside each comic too. I just really like that. So we got a bunch of these. I got up to, well, I'm missing number 1, but I got up to here's number 10, number 11, number 12, and number 13. I don't know if there are more than that. I gotta find out though. Okay, that does it for action, adventure, fantasy, sci-fi, and westerns. Now we're gonna go to crime, spies, and war. Okay, from this year, G.I. Joe by Joshua Williamson on the writing, and Andrea Milana on the art. Sometimes it's a different dude, but I'll show, like, each issue is pretty banging, but this one in particular is probably my favorite. Number 7 with, is it Beachhead? I think that's his name. He's kind of like up there with like Jinx and Snake Eyes for being a cool one-man kind of ninja commando army. And that's what you get in this story too. It's just like causing mayhem, sneaking into a base full of enemies and shit and wreaking havoc. It's fucking sick. This issue's sick. There are a lot of strong issues in this series, but just to show, I say this one rules. And they have cool covers in this. I kind of wish I got that cover A. I hope I can find it. The Tom Riley. The Derek Chew ones are pretty sick too, of course. There's a lot of all kinds. And these silent missions were good too. I only managed to get 2, but they were both very strong. Jinx, the ninja girl, Danny on the art. That was sick. I showed it in previous videos, so I won't like do it again. The Roadblock issue with Andrew Crank, and Francesca Salagala. Dan Waters press on Jinx one. These are sick. These are fun, real fun. Okay, read a lot of James Bond. These are, you've heard me say these are good a lot if you've been around, that these comics are often like better than the movies even, but worth mentioning, there's this old Mike Grell one, Permission to Die. And then there's number 2. I've showed interiors of these on previous, so I'll just keep it short and sweet here because I don't want to run out of like too much time. And there's number 3, the third one. I don't think I've showed this one before though. This one was good as well, by Doug Ubermensch and Paul Gulacy. This is Serpent's Tooth is the name. Let's flip through a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna do this cold fast. I know it's like good enough that I can. Sorry, I should have had this in my square bound, but I forgot. This one, showing it quickly here. These will be keepers. I like a good, just like a good solid action movie, you know? These are good for that. They got it all. Ladies in their underwear fighting in the snow. Yes. I didn't know I was into that. Alright, sorry guys, I'll try it. I can't make a video without making stupid jokes here and there. This is good stuff though. That was only 1 issue out of 3. Yeah, these James Bond comics often good, but these ones are pretty strong. Serpent's Tooth, this is back in the Dark Horse days. Permission to Die was back in what, Marvel days? Just, it seems consistently that James Bond is good. Again, these, we went over Varder in the last picks of 25 video, but look, in the dollar bin I found these cool variants. There's a Dan Panosian and Francavilla. Yay! I do like that series. Pop Kill. Talked about this as well. This is like a year or 2 old or something like that, but this was fun too. That was the first print. Here's the second. Yeah, I'll just assume that you know, you've heard me talk about this and shown the interior. Number 2. Number 3, that sick ass Adam Hughes cover. There was like the very early printings that had a fucking hot Adam Hughes covers. Those go for real big bucks now. This is number 3. This is hot too, but the other ones are like crazy. Okay, Pop Kill number 4 with the J. Scott Campbell cover. They have fun with these covers. Fun series. This was cool to get. I think he only charged me $20 for this. Punisher number 1 Again, talking about he does like, man, okay, everybody says the Garth Ennis run, but I'm telling you, the Mike Baron run is, that's the one. That's the one, man. And it's, remember old like hour long or half an hour TV shows? Maybe something like what, like Miami Vice or The Equalizer, or even like Quantum Leap or something. Oh yeah, man. Shout out to my mom. I just remembered the other day when I was really young, she used to love watching The Equalizer and Charles Bronson movies, even though she's just like a nice lady. So shout out to her. But yeah, these are satisfying, man. I don't even know what kind of 80s badass fucking crime show would be as good as these Punisher comics, these Mike Baron like single issues. Sometimes they go to like 2 or even 3 issue story arcs, or the one against Kingpin was that like 5 or 6, or like Bushwhacker, blah blah, that was like a lot. And but the one and done's fucking rule, man. And like, talk about him being maybe an ideal cop. That one, oh, I should have brought included that maternity war issue where he's like going up against like baby traffickers, and then the trafficked baby is her father is a fucking crackhead. And and you're like, what is he gonna do? He's like, should I fucking kill that guy or give the kid to protect, or child services, and maybe like good luck with it then. And he just like confronts the crackhead, and he's like, if you don't take care of this baby to straighten up, I'm gonna come back later and kill you. Oh man. Okay, maybe, you know, oh, this is fucking fascist. That's, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's pretty good. Okay, we still got love for you out here, Punisher. Okay, Stray Bullets #1. This is one of the great crime series as well, by the Laphams, or is it primarily David Lapham or only David Lapham? I can't remember. But I do love this, and I was able to find this first printing of #1, kind of a grail to me. Only a tenner for that, all worth it. Talked about this in the last video, but may as well show it a little bit more. Torpedo and the noir hardcore stuff. Just look at the intro page. No, don't look too long now. The cartooning is so great too, by Jordi Brunet. Was it the first 2 or 3 that were done by Alex Toth? But you know, I was like, why the hell didn't Toth do all? I want more. But Jordi Brunet is fucking sick too. This is kind of beautiful, but the beauty goes so well with like the ugliness of it. It's so good. These are hard to find, so I only got, that was #1, I think, and then this is #4. Still looking for these. They're hard as hell to find. You folks in the US, that you got it pretty good, because I was looking at some book sites and I was like, sick. I found like, you know, off the beaten path some, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get these. They're like pretty cheap. And then when it recalculated the shipping to Canada, it was gonna be like fucking $100 per book, and I'm like, come on. I could order it from fucking China or Australia. What's the deal when it crosses the border? It's just, what? It costs more than the product itself. Anyhow, that's horror to me, and that's the genre we're going to next. Right, I'm kind of speeding through this, but I think I should anyway, because I don't want to be too redundant. I'm kind of like, if I've gone over something in recent months, I won't go into it too in depth. I think I got these at the beginning of the year more so, though. The Black Lamb by Timothy Truman and Sam Parsons. I would say, you know what the thing is about this is, I love like the design of like the world and costumes and like monsters and characters and stuff of this Black Lamb. Man, this cover is fucking tight, but I was originally trying to read this like an overarching story and trying to remember all the characters, but it's kind of like episodes that are, again, like, it's kind of like if it was like a really good show where there's like different groups of characters and stuff in each one that the Black Lamb interacts with, almost like if it was The Fugitive or Quantum Leap or something. But he's just trying to like protect like the world of monsters, and kind of like humans are trying to like, he's like protecting monsters versus humans, man. It's cool, mainly. And it's just so well done. It sounds like the premise is just under Truman and Parsons' hands. It's so rich, man. Again, I'd say like the assignment is they go far beyond. Like the assignment in that regard would be like limitations. They're just always going beyond. Oh yeah, you know what I would describe this as? It's kind of like Hellboy when it's really good. That's kind of like the vibe you can get out of this. Just that kind of alien, dark horror world, and it's just kind of weird and cool, just constantly. And you're just like, yeah, that was neat. I like kind of things when it's evocative too. I guess that's kind of something we get out of horror, is like you see a beautiful vista, or like a nice place to live or be in scenery, and then like, what did Dario Argento say? The only thing that makes it better is like a woman being murdered there. You add horror, or like you say, when you're in the woods at a cabin or something, you think about like, yeah, there could be like an axe murder around here, or something like that. It's fun, right? Well, I almost said what I think about is I could be an axe murderer, but just for pictures. It's all foggy and shit. It's cool. Where am I going here? I'm digressing, but this is just fucking tight. It gives you that too. You know, there's cool creativity of these Appalachian werewolves, say, or Walt Whitman's brain in like a Swamp Thing type monster and shit. It's weird. Every issue is weird and good. There's good stuff. I think if you could probably, yeah, you could read them out of order too if you get them. You could read them alone. Okay, this was from this year. Corina Bechko and Andrea Sorrentino doing just killing on the art, man. Dave Stewart on the colors too, always killing, and he doesn't fail to do so again in this. I just like this because it's fun the way that it's written from the villain vampirist's point of view, but it works probably well. That original story, the short story, was good. Totally different art style, but Andrea Sorrentino's art in this is fucking massive. It's really good stuff. I can't bear to part with this. I don't know if I would consider this like great, but it's really good. Like, the art is really good, especially storytelling. Like, it's so creative, and it's pretty pleasurable just to look at. He has these cool like panel layouts too, which is a gimmick that could get old, but he doesn't overdo it either. Show a little bit more. Yeah, that EC, the new EC is like mainly pretty horrible, but this is fucking sick. And this flashback, how they're kind of like, what are they, like shadow puppets? But looking through this like storybook with these rose petals on it, that looks so good. I really love that. Inside every one of us is a secret garden. What I meant to say is a teenage goth girl vampire kind of shit. Well, I like goth shit. It's fun. It's good. Well, vampires are good. I don't want to insert myself in stuff, but this is good stuff for that. Just put on the fucking goth mix and listen to that and read. His cartooning is really great. The way he changes like styles or gets different effects too. I gotta follow this guy more. Or I should be like following like, okay, when Dave Stewart colors something, it's probably good, or like this artist probably too. Did he do Witches with Scott Snyder? Maybe I'm getting that wrong. But that's why I was like apprehensive before about getting into Scott Snyder, but because that Witches didn't do much for me. But anyway. Yeah, I read a couple issues of Absolute Batman. I was surprised. It was fun. I eat my words. That last haul, it was kind of worth it. Anyway, moving on. I just wanted to append that and not be too snobby. That was blood type. Okay, Deadman. DC Universe presents Deadman. You know I'm a fan of this character, as are all good folk. What were we talking about? Yeah, this is did I mention Quantum Leap? It's kind of like what can they do with this character? He's so like underutilized, or he hasn't quite found a thing. He's kind of doing the Quantum Leap thing in this, where he's trying to help maybe a different person whose life is shitty. he has to inhabit them and like help their life out while he's trying to like kind of help himself like come to terms with things too. He hates being dead and stuck in this kind of limbo, but Ramakrishna is just saying like, fuck you, you can't, until you've helped like 1,000 souls or something crazy, or bajillion, then you can't move on. And in this one, it's this veteran who's lost his legs, and meanwhile Dead Man is also, there's kind of two plots. He's trying to figure shit out for his own crisis that he's in. And the culmination here is like, of this first issue, is that he like puts a gun to this, he inhabits the veteran, and he puts a gun to his head, and he's like, Ramakrishna, get here now, we have to talk, or else I'm blowing this guy's brains out. Yeah, pretty good stuff. What can you do with Dead Man? That omnibus is coming out? Crack, get on it, man. Write a fucking Dead Man story. Get that shit going. There needs to be like new Vertigo Dead Man, like maybe that omnibus. I saw he has like different powers and stuff too. Even my favorite's the Mike Baron, but this was very good. But I read all the Mike Baron Action Comics ones, and they were not as fun. It's just like, you know, trying to stop people from blowing up nuclear bombs and shit like that. It wasn't, I like the character stuff, I guess, more, that world. But you know how it is, I sent away for this from my comic shop, because I was looking for it for so long. And then you know how it is, you find it in a dollar bin at the next show you go to finally too, right after you get it in the mail and spent all that money and shipping and shit. That's just how it goes. So 2 copies of that now. This was cool to get, the first appearance of Xenozoic Tales. This isn't like, that's more like a sci-fi, but I guess Death Rattle Volume 2, number 8 here is more like, it's kind of like a kitchen sink, or like everything, bit of everything, but I love Xenozoic Tales. So, is this like the second time I've had this? Maybe I didn't keep it the first or second time. My bad. I do love it though. Need to have it. It's not the best Xenozoic Tales story though. I think that's why I didn't keep it, but it's the first app. Okay, I forgot to talk about this, but it just deserves to be talked about. In the last book one, definitely should have talked about the Corbin Library, but I know everybody that that like, probably you as a viewer watch like the same kind of people I do, and they probably a lot of them didn't miss the boat on this as well, and were smart enough to mention this Corbin Library. Get it while the getting's good. But this Dimwood, the last story I think he did, if I'm remembering that correctly, particularly with his daughter, is like touching in a way, if you let it be touching. It has all the weird, quirky horror, just like the weird, you know, weird tales where there's just elements of the weird, where it's not necessarily explainable. Yeah, this is so groovy, man. He always has that kind of thing. I'm fond of saying, kind of like an Evil Dead 2-ish kind of thing, where you're creeped out and like it's scary, but then you can get like, you can laugh and stuff too at certain points. But I don't want to compare him solely to that, but that's like for lack of my brain doing better. And this is really nice. Talked about this before, and I think the underlying theme in this too is kind of like helping people you care about as well. They kind of like come to the rescue for each other through the lack of just will and determination at points too. But it's not like corny. You just, if you pay attention, you can notice that. I think it's more like they're just being heroic a lot, like the good people in this. But when you consider that this was the last work that Corbin did, and it was with his daughter, I think that was something there. Is like there's an element of love going throughout this too, and like showing love, people caring about each other without it being corny. It's still fucking like weird and creepy and like a, you know, even like hot sometimes at some points, but in a weird way. Not in a too weird, gross way. It's just the horror that's gross. Okay? Maybe I should write these out ahead of time. A little bit unprofessional. Okay, these are pretty cool actually, on reflection. This is a new release from this past little while. And these are skyrocketing in price, man. I'm glad I have this first print, because these are like $40 and up, or at least 30 and up everywhere online. So get them while the getting's good. I need to get issue number 3 still. Number 5 hasn't come out. Event Horizon Dark Descent, prequel to the movie, The First Crew. And yeah, it's pretty what's it called, inventive. Again, like, I'd say that it's cool to get that rendition of hell, but the thing I forgot to say last time when going over this is kind of like the coalescing of the hell for this guy is kind of like the worst moments in his life coalescing and just affecting every other moment, and he's like reliving them and seeing it all, how all of that is like he's trapped in that. He's trapped in like the worst day of his life forever. And that's a very interesting concept, and to find that they all kind of like all these worst days in his life like affect each other and are like enmeshed together, and they affect his whole life too. But kind of maybe it's by him. I don't know, what can you say? It's cool, a cool invention, a cool concept. So there's some cool ass shit in here, man. And the art is sick too. Who did this art? Did I shout him out before? It's hard to tell with these fucking, where do you find the credits, bitch ass motherfucking shit? I can say the last names though. Ward and Jones and Martin. Okay, let's keep going with horror. Damn, I can't even do this justice. Ghost of Dracula from Eternity. I think I showed mainly number 1 earlier, but again with the gothic horror, and like, you know, I say Dracula's a genre unto himself. These are some of the best Dracula comics I've ever read. Look at this art too, man. Martin Powell on the script, Seppo Makinen on art. I need to find more stuff by that guy. And again with the gothic horror, the great characterization. And some of the things you like best about Dracula is like his ruthlessness, but his class and sense of pride, and just that old world kind of like classiness that he has. And of course the sexual element too. They do that well. In vampirism, you need like, sex has to be about like preying on people, and like in like socially, or like in instances of like dominating or whatever. That's kind of, you know, when you get into like what Desmond Morris and all that kind of shit, or Jane Goodall, or fucking Dan Fossey and stuff, or whatever. Or all that, even playing poker and stuff. You need to learn like the unconscious. Man, I'm getting all digressing too much. But the and also like it's good for the sexual element too. Keeps it hot. Look at how good this lady looks, man. Her neck. The lettering too. How he goes into like these fits of like ecstasy when he's drinking blood. He's kind of like tripping out. Oh man, and the use of this like tone and stuff. This guy's drawing is fucking awesome, man. This guy's bitching, dude. Seppo Makinen. I gotta find more stuff by this guy. And the writing is fucking great, man. My lord, do not approach me. Let me be. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, I went over this in depth, and I like read a bunch of these on the Halloween episode, if you want to go back. But that was flagged as adults only, so you need to be like signed in for that. So, and with good reason. You see, if that's adults only, yeah, it's keeping me out of trouble. But that's one of my favorite episodes. But I was trying to be like do voice acting and everything, because I fucking love these. These are fucking great. As well, covered this Gothic Knights by David Barbour and Tim Vigil. This is like, oh, this is gold to me. This is some of the best stuff I've ever found, I think. We'll show a little bit. Again, that Gothic, just rich. Like the writing is so rich and like evil. They bask in evil, you know, like sex, drugs, rock and roll. But I love when it's written so well from like the villain's point of view. Like you're rooting for them, but it's so cool to be able to do that. To be like, yeah, fuck the humans, kill them, man, they're bastards. She's evil. She's hot though as hell too. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get more. I need to get like prints and art from this and stuff, man. Try to get some original art or something. Rebel Studios, that's the label to look for. Don't find them before I do them. And Gothic Knights number 200. The Hunt was on. More David Barber though, this time with Joe Vigil. Gunfighters in Hell. This is a Black Magic edition. Is this one signed? That should exist. But yeah, I went over this in a previous video. This rules. Like mixing just demonic banger art with fucking Western stuff. Like their love for both of those things shows. Do I have this like? Oh yeah, let's show some of this like sick ass art. There's so much killer art in here. The ink is being slung to great effect. Bat-winged fucking black horse with a fucking mohawk. And the eyes, I always forget to mention like how he's all the stuff he does with eyes. Like some of like cool shit going on a lot. Look at her eyes, man. Did you even notice them? Pig. Oh cool, this is signed. Sick. Limited edition. Fuck, I need to find more stuff by Joe Vigil. And sent away for number 2 as well. This to look at some stuff. The wings on that thing. And the foreground, all that stuff. All the skulls too. Okay. This is a cool find because this was Hellblazer number 1 for only like 20 bucks. And this is like near mint. So for the longest time, this would be like 100 bucks and stuff. So second copy though. This is an upgrade. And I thought I may as well also talk about, I found a second copy of this Hellblazer Annual 1 very early on in the year, and did a video showcasing this. One of my favorite standalone issues of anything, and of any horror especially, and probably of the Hellblazer series, volume 1. This is so sick. Jamie Delano writing, Brian Talbot art. If you have to get one Hellblazer issue, make it this one. This is the one, man. But talked about it. I already sold my second copy, unfortunately. This is the keeper. If I could find another one, I would, man. I'd keep it in there for other people, but oh, this is so killer, man. This is like watching, I keep comparing stuff to movies, but if you know, like Excalibur or something, that movie kind of rules. But this is like a horror fucking Hellblazer. Something that epic and dark and like weird and psychedelic, but like more gory maybe, and more spooky and scary and creepy and weird and blood and murder, and but just a lifetime of he's looking at the history of like Emperor Constantine, but the history books got it wrong. Constantine was like a devout pagan who just obfuscated his doings by pretending to be Christian, right? in this iteration, and that he was like one of the most powerful wizards or sorcerers ever. It's sick. It's so sick. But before, I may as well go along, and I've mentioned this too as a great standalone Hellblazer Newcastle. Recently mentioned that. I may as well mention these as well, number 77. So show some of my favorite ones here, just in case I don't record the fucking special Halloween video. For years I've been like, I need to showcase some of my favorite horror comics ever, but I'm always sick and have like no voice for like a month around that time. So this is a creepy one, where another exorcism issue where Constantine, this is from Chaz's point of view, and you kind of learn why Chaz like takes all this abuse and deals with all this shit from Constantine, because he like believes in him kind of. Constantine takes him to this would it be called a haunted house, where this junkie is like seeing this murder of this little girl over and over. He says, well, Chaz, what does he say first? Don't piss about, John. I'm not... Come on, for frig's sake. Go into the kitchen and have a look under the stairs and tell me what you see. Don't piss about, John. Right, what's the big bloody deal? Sorry if I do some... May as well try to do some British. Well, Chaz, she's... What do you see, mate? She's only a bleeding kid. This bloke, he's strangling the life out of her. Christ, I'm crying. Like a sodden baby. He's smiling at me. He's grinning all over his friggin' face. And he wants me to know he's enjoying it. Fat bloke, right? Yeah. Sideburns, braces, kids all covered in suit. Oh god, yeah. Thank Christ for that then. I thought it was just me. This is a creepy one, man. It's good as hell. Like a good standalone too. Garth Ennis and Peter Snaberg. Snaberg on the art. I don't know what else to... It's every page has some fucking killer shit going on it. And then this story, Hellblazer 77, may as well show some. And Hellblazer 84. I'll go into stuff deeper if I do that Halloween one, but just the past few years I always get too fucking sick to do it, and it pisses me off. And work is like super busy at that time too. Okay, found an extra copy of Hellboy, The Corpse. I always pick these up when I see it. May as well show this. This might be one of the best Hellboy stories ever. If it was a good, like, if I ever wanted to give somebody an intro story, or like say the best Hellboy story, I'd give him this one. This to me is like Mignola at the top of his game too. This cartooning and storytelling. So, you know, I think did Fave talk about this or something? These sequence of panels here showing time is like, it's so good, man. Everything is so good. Even these like kind of bits that are kind of offbeat and maybe a little bit comedic, but the atmosphere is so good. This world, the Hellboy world, is done so well. Okay, getting onto that, we're all familiar with this. Probably we've all read this, right? If not, go get it. I also like those Gary Johnny backups, but okay. This might be one of my favorite things Mignola ever wrote. This Jenny Finn with Troy Nixie on the art. I originally thought it was Guy Davis because it kind of has that vibe. Man, it's so funny, and it's so like, you talk about Lovecraftian stuff, but it's so funny. I'd compare it maybe to like, fuck, I don't know what. Morning Fred, morning Bill. Ain't it the shame though, two handsome lads like us, all these years hauling fish. It's true, it's true. The world's no better for us being in it. Look at that one. What is that? God, but there's ugly ones today. Those fish. Never seen anything worse than that. Fresh fish. Murder. Foul, bloody, horrible, goddamn murder. Whore killer strikes again. There's something like very comedic about this, but it's dark. Whore killer at large. The bloody hell. It's happened again. Very weird. Jenny Finn. This is great. And then this dumbass, like the lead hero is like just dumb. Now, who is that? He sees Jenny Finn, that spooky girl, walk around the street and everything getting all spooky around her. Who is that? And what's she doing in a low-end shithole like this? Come back, Joe. Your drink's getting bugs in it. And your lap must be getting cold. Hey, Olive, who's that kid who just went by? Oh, forget her, Joe. She's too skinny for such a big bruiser as yourself. It's us you want, women what's been around a bit. I might not be convincing you, but this is just so funny, man. It's so good. It reminds me of like maybe like Ghostbusters or something, because it kind of has just like almost like a dancey walking through the city, like all these little side characters making like doing crazy things of dialogue, or just like showing the character of the city or the time or this world. It's just wild, man. Gets into this fight. God, but that was a good smack. Keep them coming, Joe. Yeah, like the crowd is remarking a lot of the time. They'll be like, kill him and stuff. Just seeing people being all weird. This is funny as shit though. I can't explain it better except to say that it's so fun, and one of my favorite like Mike Mignola pieces of writing, but Troy Nixie, and doing the Cthulhu kind of thing, but not so overt and lame and like paint by numbers as usual people do. It's just like totally their own thing. This is kind of a weird This is from like a previous year, but I wanted to show it anyway because I never got to talk about it. Looker by Ian Edgington and Mike S. Miller himself. This GM March cover is fucking awesome. The way she's like not showing up in the camera and stuff too. But yeah, I didn't know Mike S. Miller was fucking awesome like this. This is weird. It seems like it would be like a continuing thing. His cartooning and storytelling in this is fucking wicked. It just hits so hard. Yeah, she's like, what? She's an ex-supermodel who became a vampire. It's pretty silly, but it's kind of good. You just kind of like go with it as if it's like a dumb 90s show or something, but it's like, I can't find anything wrong with it. And I love these kind of panels too. It's blood, just the energy, and then she tastes it and like her reaction to it. It's some nice stuff. I think she tries not to fuck with blood. That's why it like hit her so hard. Yeah, I wish there were more issues of this, but I guess there aren't. Nightmares by Mensch, Glacy, and McGregor. These reprint things, I forget where these would be originally printed, but I think they were in magazines originally. Crap. I wish I could talk better, except to say this rules too, as if like horror, the best like Hammer horror flicks. Man, he must be going off Coburn in there, right? But also kind of like an Ash from Evil Dead kind of. Yeah, that's got to be Coburn. Or like the 60s horror too, of that vibe where everything's kind of like very subtle and atmospheric, and just that nice like late 60s, early 70s horror vibe. Blood on Black Satin. How great is the text there too? But yeah, I wanted to say like I like how the lead character is kind of like a douche as well. Like he's kind of a dick. He's a jerk. This the art is so good. Maybe kind of like, man, I keep comparing things to movies, but it's fun to do so, just for lack of better. Like there's Wicker Man kind of like vibes too. But whenever you compare stuff to movies, it sounds like it's just ripping stuff off, right? Oh, there's an imitation of that. I'm just saying, like, that's some stuff I really like, and I get the same kind of feeling from this. I don't know why they just reprinted they didn't just reprint each story, like, separately in one issue themselves, rather like use 2 stories in 2 issues. But yeah, this is fun as hell. I think Hercules Pedix actually recently covered these as well. If I find the link, I'll put it in the description to this too, because he does a bang up job covering these. But these are fun as hell. Again, like, it's like watching a good ass like 90-minute movie, or each of these. Good horror. Would that be like the Carpenter? Karen Carpenter, maybe? No, there was an actress around that time that kind of looked like that too, I think. My bad. Let's flip through a little bit. Just take like probably even less than a minute. Some for the eyes. How good is the color too? Man, I love. I'm tending to think that like about 256 colors is like the best. Well, like 8-bit when you get down to it. Or I don't know how they color it. I can't pretend that I can talk about this. Looks like Clancy Brown there. How good are these colors even? And the spotting of black. Everything is just black. Pure black or white. I didn't even really notice that before. A little bit of gradation though at times. The framing. Okay. That's enough trying to sound smart. This came out actually in book form as well too, this year, and it's worth getting. Definitely one of my favorite Corbin stories. I can't pretend that I've read all of them, but this is one of my favorites. And talking about Lovecraftian too. This is Rat God by Richard Corbin. Talking about Lovecraftian and like not painting by the numbers, it's kind of like the best is that weird thing where you kind of just get a subtle hint and like there's kind of a mystery and an underlying supernatural things going on behind the scenes that are not overtly explained, but you kind of like ponder them or try to figure out what the fuck, right? And that's kind of what Lovecraft did a lot. When people would do Lovecraftian world things, they would just be like, okay, put in you know, a reference to Cthulhu and tentacles, and like that things are unexplainable in human words, and that you get driven mad by it. Okay, call it a day. But a lot of his stories were different from each other. Like there's that overlying mythos, but that what Corbin did here is it's just kind of like one of those weird tales that is Lovecraftian, where there's like it's subtle, and you're just like, wow, there's this whole like alien world that if you ponder it, it's like vast and like infinitely like dark, but there's beauty in it too. And Corbin makes it his own thing. It's great. Oh man, look at the colors on this. How nuts is that? Let's look at that rat barfing on that skeleton first. Now look at that. Damn, that rules. There's only one issue I'm flipping through, but yeah, this is one of my favorites too. Probably this and Dimwit are my favorites so far, except for something we'll talk about a little later. Excuse me. That was Rat God. Get it in ya. Yeah, I put together the set like finally this this year, I think, in like January. This is one that like Amazon usually is a horrible place to try and find floppy comics, but I was lucky that this is her Ratio Jim Rugg Red Room Trigger Warnings issue was on there for pretty cheap. Because sometimes I say fuck it and actually look for stuff on there, and there's one time that I found a floppy comic for a good price on there, because I love Sin City and Red Room, so iconic. Okay, here we've got some Eastman and Tom Schoolin and Eric Talbot. Yeah, that's it. This is a wraparound cover too, right? Zombie War. Fantaco and Tundra originally printed it. The later printing is IDW here. So I have number 1 from Fantaco, and then the second part I have is from IDW. Yeah, and black and white. Let's show a little bit. You love the fucking duotone or whatever it's called, man. This nice splash page here. These zombies. This is just pure fun. Kind of like a B movie, but I usually don't like B movies, but I do like this. Joe Bob's, the gas station. Probably a reference to Joe Bob Briggs, right? We fix them. They were having fun when they did this. I just have it flagged to show once in a while. This is funny. Oh man. That. But 666 the address here. Guy in a Ramones shirt. They always have reference to punk music when they do these, when these guys team up. Eastman and Talbot, seems. Adult toys, sale. Whips. It's funny. You gotta love having fun with it. They had fun with this whole series. It's not gonna blow your mind or change your religion, but it's just a fun little romp. Zombie War. Kind of like them doing a hardcore stupid B-movie plot. I think it's an alien that caused the zombie outbreak. Like, that's, you know, classic kind of dumb 1950s writing. Even remember in Night of the Living Dead, they try to have that little thing explaining it on the TV. You don't need that shit. Oh, a comet flew by. Yeah, you don't need that shit. But it's pretty funny here. Let's look at this wrap cover. Didn't yet. Okay, that does it for horror. Now we're going to close out with Indies and Undergrounds. Oh, I forgot to mention this when I was doing books. Adventures of Jor-El by Guy Peeler. I think that would be how you say his name, but I should have probably showed this at the beginning of the video. I would have got some good engagement. Because how nice the colors are. I haven't read this yet though, so I can't really talk. Only recently got it. So, but I just had to mention this was like such a grail. I can't imagine that this will not be like a keeper, so I'll be surprised. just too happy to get that. I got a lot of underground and indie stuff, or underground, well, a handful this year. And shout out Comic Crack, because he even like hooked me up with a good batch, but I haven't read them yet. The only like underground I really read, besides like a couple from elsewhere that I probably won't like really keep, because I don't know, I don't keep all undergrounds. It's kind of like, a lot of them are biographical. You know, you've heard me say that I don't really like care for that stuff very much. But I got this as a present from Dawn. Shout out Dawn. Fuck this. Okay, this hardcover reprint of this just came out. Ralph by Richard Corbin. But man, this black and white on this tan paper. This was the first way that I read it, even though it was like after the Ralph hardcover came out. That I read this, but I didn't get that Ralph hardcover. It didn't like get to my comic shop, so I was lucky to get this, and like I am like imprinted on this version. I like have so much love for this. This feels like I just want to hug it, not let it go. This story is so good, and the art is amazing. Like everything about it is just so good. It's so nice. I don't know what else to say. The adventure is so adventurous. The ladies are so buxom. He's just a good dog. If you love dogs, he's like a dog being the hero against this weird like mutant Nazi fantasy world. It's like a fucking like almost like a Conan or like Lord of the Rings type place, but there's fucking tanks and shit and machine guns and stuff. Oh, it's so beautiful, man. Could he have been like making this up as he went along? Sometimes when you're doing that with stories, that you can tie it all together. I mean, that's what even mentioned Larry David twice in one show here, but they would like kind of tie it up at that time too. Just because the creativity is flowing enough, right? Hold on, my mic is falling out. I don't know what else I can remark on. Well, I guess pondering that again, like Sin City, the Yellow Bastard, he said that he was like married to that ending. Like from the very beginning he had to do that ending, he said, right? And I don't know if I don't like it. I like the ending for the original Dawn of the Dead better, baby. Fuck, this rules. This is so good. Love it, man. Oh yeah, I forgot the back cover too. Shout out you guys. Maybe I should do scripted videos. I think I said it. I always forget to say something though that I meant to, but thanks for watching, and talk to me and each other in the comments. I love it. Even though I might, I'm like, sometimes I'm too dumb to like say anything good in the comments, so but I do read them all and do enjoy them. Man, I want more videos to watch too. Feel free to recommend me some other stuff. I'll keep like recommending channel. Oh yeah, you know what I wanted to ask you guys? Is it okay if when I find a good like Kickstarter to like just put the link in a community post, even though I'm not like associated with these people? But the problem I have is when I watch videos by other people showing Kickstarters, they happened already, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I could have like supported that and stuff, or like also the other thing, not have to buy it on the aftermarket where it's way more expensive, right? So there's like at least one or two that I'd like to show, and if you guys are into it too, maybe you'd appreciate it. I know that's what's the fucking, by nature it's only like we only like 10% of stuff or something, but I want to do that. I'm probably gonna do that. Let me know if that's okay with you, or if you see that, just don't be freaked out or like feel any kind of pressure or anything. I just want to share stuff where I'm like, hey, that's cool, man, I want to get that, and like if it helps them and if it helps you find something that you like too, then it's just a win-win. But if not, just scroll by too, no problem. Okay, lots of love out there, man. The dogs, keep it real. Okay, peace, and hope you find wicked stuff out there.